Hi, I'm Chris Salerno, and welcome to the Passive Investing Show.
A lot of investors I partner with have one major challenge. They are busy professionals that love to create memories with their families, but are too busy to actively look and find value-add real estate that cash flows. Hey guys, I'm John Fortes, and I want to partner with you. I provide investment opportunities through apartment syndications that allow my partners to invest passively so they don't have to worry about trading more time for money. If you are interested in creating passive streams of income, wealth creation, and all the tax benefits that come along with investing through real estate, I encourage you to fill out the form at www.investwithfortes.com. Invest today so that tomorrow you can trade money for time. Once again, that's www.investwithfortes.com. And I can't wait to partner with you.
Are you a busy professional looking to diversify your portfolio? Ever wanted to passively invest in real estate but don't know where to start? John Fortes provides you with a guide to passively invest in real estate. This is the Passive Investor Show.
And now, the Passive Investor Show. Here's your host, John Fortes.
Hello, PI listeners. Thank you for lending me your time today. Welcome to the Passive Investor Show. I'm John Fortes. Our goal is to provide you, the busy professional, with passive investing tips and tricks for your real estate investments to leverage more time for you to focus on your true passions. Let's get to work. Welcome, PI listeners, to the Passive Investor Show. I'm John Fortes. Our goal and purpose of this show is to be a resource to passive investors and help them master their investments in real estate funds. My guest today is, you heard it, Chris Salerno. Chris, thank you for coming on, man. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Super excited and love the content that you pour out, not only here on your podcast, but all over social media. So thank you so much for staying on top of that. I'm very excited to add value to everybody. I got into the real estate industry, or I'll give you a real quick background. I used to sell residential real estate, very quickly gained a success track record, which I merged my team with the number one team in the Carolinas. I really fell into their operational role, was able to make them 46% profitable in 1 year compared to their 3 years of being stagnant. And I knew that playing the game Monopoly, there's not brokeraging real estate. And I had to get in there and own the real estate. So then that's when I switched everything over to multifamily. I've won Charlotte's 30 Under 30, been nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30, the elite top 50 entrepreneurs in the U.S. and elite top 50, 30 under 30 entrepreneurs in the U.S. And just recently, I was granted a board seat on a $350 million real estate fund. So very excited for that. And we do have a fund coming in the horizon. So super excited for that as well.
Oh, man, I love 30 for 30, man. Go ahead and talk your talk and walk your walk, my man. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
So walk us how you got to that process and how it basically got you to where you are today. So you already touched on it.
Yeah.
Walk us through that.
Yeah. So I'm big about mindset, big about positivity, big about growing your mind. Currently right now, I'm listening to Ray Dalio, a hedge fund manager. He wrote The Principles for Success. I'm listening to all of his YouTube videos, his book, everything, and I'm soaking my mind around all this knowledge. So that's what I did when I first got into the business. When I first jumped into residential real estate, I listened to podcasts, very similar to yours, but residential. I went on YouTube. I started researching it to become an expert in it. And I became an expert very quickly, gained a success. And then I felt like I hit a ceiling. And then I started to listen to podcasts like yours, started to watch YouTube videos, started to learn about multifamily investing and what it has to offer. From there, that's when I transitioned everything. I found a mentor, and I highly recommend it. It may not be for everybody, but a mentor is key because it helps limit your mistakes. But I found a mentor, was able to grow the business to a very quick and substantial level, with only being in it a little over a year. And that's how it all transparent. It was this really mindset, going out there, gaining the knowledge, soaking it all in, and using that knowledge and actually taking action. Because a lot of people will soak up as much knowledge as possible, but they won't take the action because they're afraid, they're fear, they're doubting themselves. And you have to go out there, take that action once you gain the knowledge. But it all starts with knowledge. So I would say definitely listen to podcasts like yours, YouTube videos, go on social media and gain that knowledge, because that knowledge is going to help you grow a large business if that's what you're looking to do. Or if you're looking to be a passive investor, still go out there and gain that knowledge, because when you're talking to operators, when you're looking at the PPM, when you're looking at the operators OM that they send to you, you should be knowledgeable about that investment. You should understand what the key terms mean, IRR, cash on cash. You should understand how to calculate that. It's extremely important to get a good grasp on that, because you don't want to just throw money into a syndication and hope to get a good investment. You should really be knowledgeable about it so you can grow for the future.
Oh, I love that, Chris, because you touch on a lot of things of self-educating, and
Oh, yeah.
we always preach about understanding an investment before you go into understanding a fund. What's the fund going to invest in? So a lot of things come about with blind funds and syndication funds that are deal by deal. But how did you go about finding your mentor or connecting with a mentor to help you groom yourself to become to the level you are today?
I love that question. So I was actually listening to a podcast just like yours, and his name's Joe Fairless. Listening to Joe Fairless's podcast, and I always believe, and I was interviewing someone yesterday, is that when you go to a conference or when you go to a meetup, go by yourself. Why? Because you're going to be willing to network. You're going to be willing to talk to people. You're not going to be willing to just sit there in a corner and act all awkward. So go by yourself, because it's extremely important. So I went to a networking event by myself, and I used to wear suits all the time, and I love suits. I'm a big fan of suits. So I wore a 3-piece suit. Walked in here, I felt like I heard it's a multifamily networking event, so I felt like I'm walking into Blackstone's board meeting. So I'm walking in and everyone's in shorts, t-shirts, and flip-flops. I'm like, I'm here for the multifamily networking event. They're like, you're here? I'm like, no, like I'm here to network with multifamily owners. And they're like, nope, this is it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm here by myself. I brought a handful of business cards. I'm going to make it work. Started handing them out, and then I heard a gentleman who hosted it, and I went up, shook his hand, thanked him for hosting it. And I said, well, you've gained a quick success. You have to have a mentor or coach. Who is he? And he said, Joe Fairless. I said, I listened to his podcast, never knew he coached, which he does not anymore. He does not accept clients. And I said, whatever it takes, I want him. I don't care. Whatever it takes. So after multiple calls with him, interview process, we came on the same page and agreement that we should work together and it'd be a good fit. And boom, I got me a mentor. And a mentor is there to not hold your hand through the process, but a mentor is there, I always like to say, is that they're leaving little tiny flashlights behind their trail, and you're supposed to follow it, but you still have to do the work and walk. They're not going to push you up the hill. You still have to push yourself up the hill, but they're just shining a light on it so you can not necessarily make a mistake, but limit your mistakes, and then also get advice along the way. So that's how I found my mentor. I highly believe and highly recommend search for a ton of mentors. find the one that best fits you. I wanted someone one-on-one where I can call on the phone. I didn't want someone's coach's coach, because I wanted to hear it straight from the horse. I didn't want to hear it from, 5 people down. So I highly believe in that. That's what helped me become beneficial. But if you're looking to, gain knowledge in the operator side or even in the investing side, I mean, really find a mentor or someone to follow and gain their information.
I love that. Find a mentor, get a consultant. Let's not confuse that with an accountability group. If you need someone to
Correct.
push you up the hill, an accountability group will be that.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we've touched on this before at conferences when we linked up together, Chris, and we've talked about the importance of a mentor. So thank you for sharing how you got there and stuff. So what are you working on? Tell me what you're working on, what your business and your company's working on.
Yeah, great question. So if you follow me on social media, I have not been posting a lot. Facebook, I have, to try to be interactive, but Instagram, I have not, because I've been very busy. So I've been listening to a lot of books. David Goggins, I don't know if you've heard of him, but I love him. Been listening to a lot of his YouTube, a lot of his books, you name it. To get that mindset right. My mindset's strong and it's positive, but it can always be perfected and always keep growing. But we are in the process of creating around a $400 million real estate fund. So that's what we have in the works right now. I would say in the next 2 months, we should have it opened. It will be a 506c Reg D, but we're extremely excited about that. That one's going to be a huge fund that will focus strictly on multifamily assets. So that's what I'm in the works of right now. We also have a couple deals in the pipeline. But just working very heavily, pouring all my knowledge and time and energy and gaining more knowledge from other fund managers, from other people who have successfully raised 400, 500, $1 billion. So gaining their knowledge and putting it all together to make sure this is successful.
Yeah, let's talk about the fund. And I think that's awesome that your company's kind of going in that direction. Let's talk about the fund and how you decided to just create that fund just for real estate purposes and what you're currently doing right now. Basically, walk us through as a passive investor what it takes to get inside that fund and your purpose of that fund.
Yeah, great question. So it will be a application process for the regular investor who's accredited. It will be an application process to get in there. The fund will mainly be a multifamily real estate fund. Will focus on core plus, and value add assets. So that will be B and A assets. When it comes to the fund itself, we will be locating large assets, obviously in the Southeast. So that is the bulk majority of it and how it's going to be structured. We have numbers, but I don't want to, put any numbers out or anything like that just now. But right now we see that going the fund route, because my goal with QC Capital is to create a 10, 15, $20 billion company. And the only way to achieve that within 15 years is to create a fund. Now you can achieve that 10, 15, 20 billion through the syndication model, but that's going to take 30, 40, 50 years. So we're switching it up, and right now we feel is the best time to switch it up. And the reason why is because a lot of these larger pensions, endowments are losing a lot of money in the stock market, and they're going to want to recuperate their capital. And off of across the board, you'll see statistics right now. Multifamily is still very strong, and even if it dips a little bit, it will still be the first asset to recover very quickly because everyone needs shelter. You cannot take it away. I think during this time right now that we're facing, retail is definitely going to take even a bigger hit because it's already taken a hit from Amazon, and hotels, they'll rebound because people are going to travel and go on vacation, stuff like that. But when it comes to retail, I'm weary of how it's going to pan out after we get out of this because, it's going to be very difficult because of Amazon, really impacting the retail market in general. But so that's how the fund's going to be or going to look. And that's where I want to take the company, and we have to do it by creating a fund. And we're very excited for all the partners that are involved and all the future partners that will be involved for the success of everybody.
I love that. I love that. So I reach out to you. I fill out an application. And what's my next step?
From there, you'll get a follow-up call. From that follow-up call, we'll discuss what your investment goals are, what you're looking for to see if it aligns, because a fund's different than a syndication. So we gotta make sure the investment goals in line. We got to make sure that your accredited status, you're actually accredited investor, and then we move from there. So once the fund's open, we hope to fully fund it in one round, but if not, we'll have a maximum of 4 rounds. But once the fund's fully open, that's when PPMs are sent out to all investors. And if they have any questions, they'll be able to reach out to me directly, or our underwriter or asset manager to ensure that we get their question answered, and then we move forward.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, man. So how do we find you, Chris? Like, basically, you have a fund. How do we find these type of funds, right? So I'm a passive investor. I've already done my due diligence on the knowledge of, I've educated myself on the landscape of the game. And I kind of come across you, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm referred to you. So I understand. I fill out the application and we talk, right? And we get to know each other, criteria, right? And then the PPM sent out and all that. But for people that don't understand, how do they get basically connected with you in the beginning to learn about a fund? Because we all know about syndications, getting on someone's list, and then
for sure
opportunity comes out, and yes, I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, so right now our website should go live. We've had to rebrand and create a whole new website, and it's qccapitalgroup.com. You'll be able to fill out your information there, and you can actually set up a call with me directly. So the fund will be limited seats for smaller investors. I will tell you that because our main focus is private and public institutions. So we will be syndicating property this year, so we're always open to reconnecting and connecting with future investors who love the syndication model and who want to invest passively into the entity. But when it comes to the fund structure, there will be very limited seats, as we are really focusing on large institutions and private and public institutions, also some sovereign wealth funds. So when it comes to it, I would say go to the website, qccapitalgroup.com. If it's not up by the time you check it out, just keep checking back once a week, because it will be up very shortly. You can fill out that, set up a call with me, and we can chat about it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So Chris, tell us something. Tell the PI listeners something they should really consider when it comes to passive investing. What's the most important thing you can give them? What nugget?
Oh, yeah. I love getting asked this question. The most important information that I would give to a passive investor, and especially, one who wants to invest into a syndication, is before you invest, or before you go ahead and invest, I would invest into your city. So I would find out the top operator in your city and connect with them, because you know that market better. Because you've lived in that market, you understand that market, so you can really get a good gist of what's going on. And then after your first investment into that city, then start to look into other cities after you really get your feeling and your foundation of how a syndication's operated. Or if you already have that, jumping ahead, I would definitely talk to the operator, because the operator has to align with your goals, and not just your short-term, but also long-term goals. Everyone who I have a phone call with, I tell each potential investor our short-term, our long-term goals. I tell them our company, who we are, what we stand for, and see if it aligns with that investor. If it doesn't align with that investor, maybe it won't be a good fit. Maybe it still will. You just never know. But really set up a call with an operator, sit down, 30, 40 minutes to an hour, and really get to know them, get to know their operation, how they are operating, how they do distributions, how they do communication, because communication is key. And, maybe they have references. They should. If they have references, call their references, ask them, how's the communication process? Because me personally, I don't want to passive invest into a deal and don't hear anything, or hear something in 6 months. During this time right now with COVID, I want to hear something every month. what's going on with this property. So it's very important, in my opinion. It's definitely communication, but building a strong relationship with those operators to ensure that both your investment goals are in the same line.
I love that. I've had issues in the past where personally communication was very, very frail, I
Yeah.
guess you could say, weak.
Oh yeah.
And I've had strong communications with other people, sponsors it's just phenomenal. The information that they tell you. I think that's a beautiful piece of information, Chris. Thank you for
Oh, yeah.
sharing, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime.
Man, I love that. So real quick, man, about the fund, man. I love that. Go to Chris's website. Chris, can you shout out your website and where we can find you?
Yes, it's qccapitalgroup.com. If it's not up, just keep checking back because it will be up very, very soon. I promise you. If you would like to just hop on social media, you can find me at Chris Salerno on Facebook or on Instagram, Chris_Salerno_.
I love that. Go and find him, guys. He's a phenomenal person to connect with. If the accent doesn't draw you in alone, man, come on. Come
on now.
I love it, man. But appreciate you for coming on, guys.
Yeah,
Link
thank
up
you.
with Chris. There's a reason why we always do a too long didn't read. And there's a reason why for that, right? So one, I like the person that's coming on the show to really basically dive into themselves, because the people I bring on really don't boast about themselves a lot. And I think they should when they get the opportunity to.
I agree.
I think everybody I bring on has been very humble.
Good.
So I'd love to give them an opportunity to kind of, brag about themselves for a little.
Yeah.
Right. So I appreciate you for doing that and explaining who you are. But another reason why I truly do this is so that if you are interested in learning more, you can reach out to that person. Everybody I bring on the show is a phenomenal person. And Chris, you are one of those people, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
PI listeners, appreciate you guys for listening. Tune in to the next one. If you haven't already, please listen and subscribe. But please, if this resonates with you, share it with someone that you love, a friend, family member. They'd probably be grateful for it, man. Teach them something.
Love it.
I would be truly grateful. I appreciate you. Chris, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Guys, to the next episode. PI listeners, I'm grateful for your time and I appreciate you for listening. For more information, go to passiveinvestorshow.com. If any of this resonates with you, please subscribe and leave a review. The more you know, the more we grow. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time.